You're sitting in a waiting room. Silence arrives, and before 5 seconds pass, your hand moves toward your phone. Not because anything happened, not because you're expecting a message, just because stillness felt like something to fix. You check your phone in the 40 seconds it takes the kettle to boil. You scroll for 30 seconds in the elevator. You open an app, close it, open it again, all before you've had a single conscious thought about why. Now imagine the person sitting across from you doesn't reach for anything. They just sit, still, present, completely unbothered by the quiet. Something about that person catches your attention. You can't quite explain why. Today, I'm going to show you how to become so calm it makes people nervous. Not because you're trying to intimidate anyone, not because you're pretending to be emotionless, but because you've learned something most people never do. You've learned that real power doesn't come from reacting. It comes from remaining steady when everyone else is being pulled in every direction. Stay with me until the end, because the final chapter is the difference between people who spend their lives chasing peace and people who become peace. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Protect your attention. Most people think calm is something you're born with. They assume some people are naturally relaxed while everyone else is doomed to live in a permanent state of stress. But look at what's actually happening around you. A notification appears. You check it. A message arrives. You answer immediately. Someone disagrees with you online. Suddenly, you're defending yourself to a stranger whose last name you don't even know. One comment controls your afternoon. One email controls your morning. One mistake controls your entire week. And after years of this, most people don't even realize they're living in a constant state of emotional interruption. Their mood is being decided for them, moment to moment, by whatever arrives next. Here's what most people don't know. Trauma researcher Dr. Bessel van der Kolk found that the nervous system cannot distinguish between a physical threat and a stressful notification. To your body, the ping of an unread message and the growl of a predator register through the same threat detection system. Both ask the same question: am I safe right now? Every time you reach for your phone, the moment silence appears, your nervous system reads that as confirmation. Something out there needs monitoring. Something might not be safe. Neuroscientists have also identified what's called the default mode network, the state the brain enters during stillness and quiet. For a long time, researchers assumed it meant the brain was resting. What they found instead surprised them. The default mode network is actually the brain's most integrative state. It's where you process experience, regulate emotion, and generate clarity. In other words, the stillness most people are running from is the very state where the brain does its most important work. Calm people aren't just more relaxed. At a neurological level, they are more integrated, more clear, more capable of choosing their response rather than just reacting. And that difference shows. Chapter 2. Stop feeding the chaos. Most people think they're addicted to distraction. They're not. They're addicted to stimulation. And that distinction matters more than it sounds. Think about drama. People say they hate it, yet somehow they always find themselves surrounded by it. Someone posts something controversial. Everybody reacts. Someone starts an argument. Everybody joins. Someone creates conflict. Everybody chooses a side. It's emotional fast food. Quick, intense, completely exhausting. The brain loves stimulation because stimulation feels important. Every reaction produces a small neurological reward. Being outraged feels like caring. Arguing feels like fighting for something. Even anxiety can feel productive because it mimics urgency. But calm people ask a different question before they engage. Is this worth my peace? Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every criticism deserves your attention. Not every battle deserves your participation. And here is what most people never realize about restraint. Reaction is easy. Anyone can react. A notification reacts. An alarm reacts. A car horn reacts. Remaining calm when every emotion is pulling you in another direction, That is not passivity. That is the highest form of self-possession. The moment you stop feeling obligated to react to everything, something shifts. You stop being controlled by whatever arrives next, and that is where real freedom begins. Chapter 3. Become the eye of the storm. Most people think calm looks like weakness. It is the opposite. Picture two people during an argument. One is shouting, interrupting, trying desperately to prove they're right. The other speaks slowly, listens, never raises their voice, never loses control. Who seems stronger, the person trying to dominate the room or the person who clearly doesn't need to? This is why calm makes people nervous, because calm creates uncertainty. When people can predict your reactions, they feel comfortable. When they can't, they pay attention. A calm person is harder to manipulate, harder to bait, harder to pressure, and deep down, people sense that. They sense they are not dealing with someone who can be destabilized easily, and that changes how they approach you entirely. That's why the most emotionally mature person in the room often says the least, not because they have nothing to say, because they're not trying to prove anything. Here is what eventually happens when you commit to this. The rude customer stops ruining your day. The impatient driver stops living in your head rent-free. The difficult coworker stops deciding your mood. The criticism, the rejection, the delays, the inconveniences, they lose their grip. Not because life became easier, because you stopped giving every event permission to decide how you feel. Most people spend their entire lives trying to control the world around them. The real shift is realizing the goal was never to control the world. The goal is to stop letting the world control you. There will always be difficult people. There will always be chaos. The question is whether you're going to join it or remain steady inside it. In a world that rewards your rage and monetizes your anxiety, choosing calm isn't passive. It's the most defiant thing you can do. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing the last word. You stop needing everyone to understand you because your peace becomes more valuable than being right. And that is when people start noticing, not because you're demanding attention, because you're no longer desperate for it. Being calm isn't about escaping life. It's about becoming bigger than the things that used to control you. Because the moment you stop reacting to everything, you start responding intentionally. The chaos is still there. You are just no longer part of it. And that is when calm stops being something you practice. It becomes who you are. Drop a comment below. What is the biggest thing stealing your peace right now? I'm Sam, and I'll be reading every single one of your comments. If this video helped you, subscribe for more videos that will help you become better every day.